not sure if my intro plays, so hold on just a minute. You know what? I think, Bridget, that never mind.
I know you feel it, the burning in your spirit, welling deep inside, you got a beast inside. I know it's hard to tame it, it's harder to explain it, can't even get a picture, no matter how you frame it. There's so much pressure with all these external stresses, and undoubtedly try to touch you. Gotta push them through the feeling, even though your mind is reeling. The power's deep inside and leads you if you were willing. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power.
Welcome to the Power Shut Up podcast. So you all excuse the beginning. Okay, my computer has been down for a minute. Okay, so my computer is like, what are you doing right about now? But I wanted to actually welcome everybody. It has been a long time and I've missed you all. So I'm excited to introduce my guest, which is the first guest of 2026. We are in the third season of the Power Shut Up podcast, but I have truly missed you all, but life be lifing, y'all already know. And I've been helping with family and taking care of business over here with the family. So that comes first, but I was just away for a minute, but not gone. So we are introducing a wonderful guest into a new year. So I'm going to catch up right now. So I first wanted to welcome you all back to season 3 in 2026. We are here to have a great conversation, but I'm going to do what I always did, which is first say happy birthday. And I have missed quite a few birthdays. Okay. So I don't think I've been on since maybe November. So happy birthday to all the birthdays that I missed, including the ones up to today. Happy birthday to all the January babies. I hope you are enjoying your special day. Y'all know how I feel about celebrating. And with that being said, happy anniversary. So I've missed a lot of love days. So happy anniversary, but it's a great lead into February. Y'all know how I feel about love. So I'm excited to kick things off and then go into February. So happy anniversary to all those lovebirds. And I'd also like to send a prayer out. This has been a trying year, to say the least. And you all know since last year of January, things have just been happening, from retirement to my family to just everything. So it's been a rough year, but it's not going to take us down or out. It just delayed a few things. And as you can see, we are back. Okay. So with all that being said, I would like for you all to meet my guest. So I'm going to do a little introduction, but you all, some of you may already know her. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about who we're going to be talking to tonight and what we're going to talk about. So I want to introduce you to my guest, Bridget Cooks, who is a certified life and relationship coach, peer support specialist, mentor, and motivational speaker who has been in private practice since the early 2000s. With a powerful blend of lived experience and professional insight, Bridget supports individuals, couples, and parents in recognizing triggers, which is a big thing. I can't wait for this conversation, addressing trauma and creating healthier relationships with themselves and others. She is a creator of the ME3 Method. We're going to talk about motivate, encourage, empower, and embrace. And I'm actually going to share with Bridget why that is so connected to what I do as well. So I know that this is supposed to happen this way. It's a work rooted in passion, accountability, and real life application. Bridget's work is grounded in authenticity, faith, and a deep commitment to helping people win, even after life's hardest moments. So please welcome Coach Bridget Cooks of Bridget's Home Away from Home, which is helping open minds elevate away from hindrances, obstacles, mayhem, and excuses. Welcome to the Power Shut Up podcast, Bridget.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having me. And welcome back to you too. Okay.
Thank you. This has been a long coming. So Bridget, behind the scenes, Bridget and I have been trying to connect for a long time, but things happen when they're supposed to happen. So I'm excited to have her as my very first guest for 2026 on season 3 of the Power Shut Up podcast. And she, when I was reading her bio, it mentioned something about the ME3 method. So I wanted to hear all about that. But I do know, Bridget, that you just have a story. We all have a story, but I have actually seen some things that you have done with interviews and things like that. And it's very inspirational to me. And so I want you to share a little bit about how this got started, and then we'll tap into the ME3 method.
Absolutely. Well, like I like to tell people, this all got started with all of my lived experiences, everything that I had gone through, had encountered throughout life, trying to figure out who I am, where I am, what I'm supposed to be doing, which direction I'm supposed to be going, and then getting upset with God. I mean, if I could just be 110% honest. Okay. Being totally upset with him. I was, I am a believer in my heavenly creator. I would go to church, go to Bible study. I prayed all the time. Okay. But I couldn't understand why my life was going the way that it was going. God, the word says it's better to marry than to burn. Well, I got married. All right. And my marriage was very, 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 very abusive. Okay. In every aspect of it. And so one day I remember just sitting on the edge of my bed, and I just went in with all honesty. You know what, God? F you. Okay. How dare you sit up here and allow me to go through all of this? And here I am serving you, loving you, trusting you. I go to church, I pray, I do this, that, and or the other. I'm trying to live according to the way that you say to live. And my life just seems like once I left from the gang banging, selling dope in the street life, and I come over to you, it seemed like my life is a living hell. And every time I give that testimony, and it goes much deeper than that, but every time I give that testimony, I can literally hear God laughing in the background. Like, you don't have a clue. You think you going through all this for you. Okay. I'm getting ready to allow you to intentionally go through some things because I have something for you to do later. I have people that's going to see you later. And because you're not going to look like what you've been through, it's going to be motivational for them. It's going to be encouraging to them. It's going to empower them. You'll be able to embrace them the way that you wanted those people or people to embrace you. Okay. Wow. Absolutely. So I took my lived experiences. I tell people all the time, I have a PhD, a personal history degree. Can't no paper top that. Okay. No paper.
I love it.
So, and that's what got me here, just looking at everything that I had gone through, seeing how God brought me through. Okay. And then realizing that, you know what, it really wasn't about you. There are people out crying. Okay. Looking for somebody to talk to who understands the language. Okay.
Absolutely.
And that right there is important in itself, doctor. It is so important because so many of us will not seek the help that we need because 9 times out of 10, when going to receive some type of coaching, counseling, or therapy, it's usually done by someone who doesn't look like us. So there's a fear of miscommunication. So,
well, and let's say this too, that I think that, it's just a scary process and we run from it. Because when you got to sit down and talk to somebody about you got to deal with some stuff that, it's easy to point at what they doing, what this person is doing and that person is doing. But when you sit down with somebody, you realize somebody's going to check you on your stuff. And a lot of people are ready for that conversation. And I won't say it's an easy conversation, especially when because deep down inside, a lot of times we know where we not showing up like we supposed to be. But we don't want nobody to tell us that, right? It's like, I know you told me, right? But I love the fact when I read something about the triggers, because I think that's huge that we don't even recognize our triggers. We show them. And I think a lot of people figure out our triggers before we do.
Absolutely.
But I love that you're tapping into that and that you were real, because I think a lot of people can relate to what you said. You relate to just being like, wait a minute, I'm trying to do everything, like you want me to, and it's still not working out the way I want it to work out, right? But we kind of misunderstand that it's his will, not ours. So how are we now going to predict what it's supposed to look like?
That part.
So what made you decide to now sit down and talk with people, especially about relationships? Because I do love relationship conversations, because I think that's how we, move in the world, whether it's mother, father, daughter, whatever it is, relationships. And we got to learn how to, which is what the Power Shut Up is about as well, how we communicate with one another so that we can help each other. A lot of times everybody just talking, but nobody's listening. But tell us how you got to the place where you said, you know what, I want to pour back into others because of what you experienced, what you gained from it.
Right. Well, see, first and foremost, healing hurts. Okay. and that's what a lot of people, that's why a lot of people stay where they are. With me, you attract who you are. And with me, I started attracting a lot of hurt people. I started attracting a lot of people who felt unseen and who also were closed. And they were closed because they felt as if I were to try to tell anybody how I'm feeling, they don't want to hear that, or they are not going to get what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? It's like asking somebody, how you doing? You don't really want to know how I'm doing. Well, you know what? Because I believe words are powerful, I won't ask you how you doing. Instead, I'll ask you how you feeling.
Okay.
I ask you how you feeling because now I want you to know that I'm in tune to whatever it is that you're telling me. Okay. And then I'm going to be respectful of what you're saying to me by asking you once you go into whatever it is that you're feeling. Okay. Now, with you giving me all this information, did you want me to respond, or did you want someone to just hear you? Did you want to be heard? Okay. And I even do that with my children. Okay, well, they're all adults, but I do that with my babies. Are you telling me this because you're looking for an answer from me, or are you telling me this because you just needed somebody to just hear you? Because what you said previously is so true. We know the answers to our own problems. Okay, it's just a matter of saying them. All right, because now once you say them, or you say what the issue is with yourself, now you're accountable. Okay. Now what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Okay.
That's where the work begins, right?
That's where the work begins. All right. And we try not to look in that mirror because it's easy to talk about Lisa rather than talk to Lisa.
That's right. And it's so needed. It's funny how the thing we need the most is the thing we run away from the fastest. And that's why I always say, even back in the times of when COVID was going on, I think it was an eye opener in so many instances because it forced people to have to deal with the real you, and you stuck and ain't nowhere to go. And I think that was traumatizing for a lot of people, because now who you gonna blame? Because it ain't nobody but you in here. So now we have some work to do. And if you were willing to sit down and do the work, or sit down and think about, okay, let me do it myself, I think it kind of breaks down a whole lot of things that are blocking your next if you can deal with you. Because part of the power shut up for me was once I decided my mouth was a problem, and then I started to put the work in on how to learn how to shut up, you couldn't bring that to me, because I'm like, I get it. I know.
Come on.
And now I'm doing something about it. So now I can tell you how you can fix, and I can recognize it. So when I see somebody and I'm like, ooh, that sounds like me. I'm like, I know how to help you with this. But a lot of people aren't ready. And that's where I had to learn that even though I might have information, I've experienced it, everybody ain't ready at that time. But I'm here when you're ready. So, because I know look, it don't always work. I ain't gonna say I'm perfect with it, but I do recognize when I have not done what I know better than to do.
Come on.
And then I can check there. You know what I'm saying? Come on. So
absolutely. Yeah. I've had conversations. Yeah, I've had conversations with people, and they may say something. That was another thing that made me start recognizing triggers. They would say something and I feel my body tense. Okay. I feel it. And I started becoming more aware of that. Okay. And I started asking myself, okay, Bridget, you know what? Because you hear people say you can't change other people, but you can change how you allow things to affect you. Well, why did that affect you? Why did that bother you when they said that? Okay. Because it wasn't them. They were just talking. Okay. Right. Or they were expressing themselves. So why did that bother you so much? Okay. And I started realizing that, you know what, a lot of our triggers and traumas stimulate from childhood, and they were never addressed. Okay. True. And they followed us into our adolescent and adult life. Okay. And so to sit back and put in the work, and I'm working on me every day, all throughout the day. Okay. Intentionally choosing to be optimistic. All right. Because it's so easy. It's so easy to be upset. It's so easy to be negative. That is so easy. Okay. I look at it like the Israelites. You're going around this mountain for 40 years over something that could be resolved in 11 days. Okay. Why do you keep doing the same thing looking for a different result? All right. Just try to smile. Just try it. Okay.
Just try it.
Just try it. I promise you, it's free for one.
Right. Well, that part, but it really ain't gonna hurt. You just so against. Well, you know what I'm saying? I think people just fight against the answer. Like, almost like, I think, and that's probably some of the things that you talk to people about, is that I think they become connected to the trauma, or, you know, this whole story of, yeah, but I'm mad because, or yeah, because, and that's their story. So I can't do anything to fix it, because then I don't have no story to tell. Now I can't talk about how mad you made me because I'm good, you know, because that's in the past. So I got to hold on to that so that I can keep talking about the same thing. But I do want to lead into how, so, and I know you speak about the life experiences and the triggers and things like that, but tell us a little bit more about the ME3 method and how that kind of is introduced into your coaching.
Absolutely. Well, see, first of all, the ME3 is a way of learning how to show up for yourself. Okay. It's about motivating your growth, encouraging your healing, empowering your choices, and embracing who you are right where you are while you're still becoming. Okay. That's what the ME3 is all about. ME3 meets you where you are and walks with you towards where you're trying to go or where you're meant to be. All right. That's what ME3 is all about. The ME3 method is a movement. So that's why you may hear me refer to it as my ME3 method or my ME3 movement or even a ME3 moment. All right.
Mm.
Because oatmeal beats no meal. So if we just start, okay, if we just, take that little bit, take that crumb, all right, and work with it. All right.
Mhm.
And it's not doing everything all at once. Okay. It's literally allowing you to be just who you are right where you are. Perfection, that'll never happen.
Right.
You'll never be perfect. And I don't care how
Yep.
positive you are, you're going to still have some negative thoughts. It's just
Right.
becoming more self-aware, okay,
Mhm.
of who you are right where you are and understanding that this is a process. And as long as you're willing to go through the process, you will come out on the other side as pure as gold. All right. But that's what the Me3 method is all about. It's a movement, it's a way of life, it's self-awareness, because also, Lisa, when you think about it, the most damaging thing anyone can do to anybody, all right, on this perspective, or from this perspective, is cause them to self-doubt.
Mm.
Okay. You don't recognize who you are anymore. You don't know that you're powerful. You don't know that you're articulate, that you're smart, that you're beautiful, that you're this. No, because I've been told that I've been this my whole life. Is that what you choose to hold on to? How has that been working for
Right.
you? Okay.
Right.
Well, then let's try something new. Let's try something different. Let's just see how it works, because most people are very familiar with trauma. Okay.
Mhm.
But survival is new. Thriving is new.
Mm.
Let's try something
Mm.
new. Let's try a healthy way of thinking. So that's where I'm at with
Well,
it.
that's that scary thing called, and I think we're all guilty of it, but that's that scary thing called change.
Absolutely.
We get real comfortable, and even if there's nothing that's showing that this change will be good, because we're so comfortable, and I already know, even if it's a bad outcome with this, I already know what's going to happen. So I'm good with what I already know, but I'm so scared to give this a chance, because and I don't, and it's kind of like we kind of block our own, well, it's your own blessings, because if it's already bad or there's something going on that's not quite right, not being willing to change to maybe have an opportunity for something better still blocks you, because you already know what bad look like, right? You already know what struggle look like. So if this is something that could possibly change that situation, why not give it a try? But change is scary. So, and I get it. I think that we all are scared to change. I know I have been, especially when I'm like, okay, well, I already know this path, so let me just do this. I know where to jump. I know where to move to the right. I know where to move to the left. So let me just go on and do this. But I'm avoiding that straight line that could get me there a whole lot easier, because I'm just scared to change. But that's where the
Absolutely.
work comes in that you're talking about.
Right. You're right. And that is where the work comes in, because if you don't put in the work, if you're not willing to put in the work on yourself, okay, then you're comfortable with being what I call an intentional victim. Okay.
Mm,
You're comfortable there. All right.
yeah.
Don't tell me that you love yourself when you're obviously self sabotaging. You don't want to move ahead. Well, it's not that I don't want to, I just don't know how. Well, sweetie, I'm giving you the tools provided for you to win. Okay. And I'm not
Mhm.
giving you the tool bag. That's too much for you. I'm just handing you a screwdriver to say, just turn it a little bit, just a little
Mhm.
bit. Okay.
Mhm.
And another thing that I'm working with the people that I work with, and I wish people would get this as well. Um, you don't have to include others in order to make yourself feel comfortable. Well, that's what everybody, well, we all, or I'm not talking to we
Mm.
all. I am only talking to you. That's it.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
all about you. right now. And because you're so used to having everybody else included or feeling comfortable by saying, well, everybody does. Well, we all know we all don't. I'm
Right.
only asking about you. And it's so scary sometimes for people to just literally focus on themselves,
That's true.
especially if you've been giving to everybody else. Okay, then
That's
it's natural for you to do it. But I know for me, when you come and you sit with me, it's all about you. I only want to know about you.
I know.
That's it.
Right? That's because when you're stepping out in your best self, you can only be helping someone else to do the same thing. But I do think, based on what we were saying, that a lot of times we're kind of entering into relationships and connections, and we still haven't done the work and aren't willing, but everybody's having conversations. So it's like, to me, the first question when you enter into connections is, okay, so what kind of work you done on yourself? To me, that would be like a great starting point so we can talk about it, because then I know that you have recognized some things. So it's not like traumatizing because what happens is everybody gets in the room and then you notice stuff about other people. So then that's what you want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you're not realizing the reason that you recognize that is because
Say it.
it's in you.
Come on. Okay. Come on. Now, that's why it stands out to you. Okay. Exactly. That's why it stands out. That's why you recognize it. Game, recognize game. You played that game. You've been a part of that game. You're a pawn in that game.
That part.
Okay.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this: in your practice, what do you find is kind of the most challenging when you're meeting with people and talking them through some of these triggers and how to just manage themselves? What is something that's kind of common in some of the people that you talk about that you find is like the biggest issue you have to address with folks?
To leave everybody else out. That's why I spoke on it, because, like I said, a lot of us were raised in trauma. Okay. A lot of us were raised by trauma. Okay. So we only know what we know. So again, the biggest issue I have is having that someone, if it's just the one person that I'm coaching one-on-one, just having them to focus on them without including everyone else. Because see, that downplays you. That
That's true.
downplays your role, and it causes you and whomever you're working with to focus on the they, the them. Then we find ourselves coaching them instead of you. Okay. Well, you're
True.
right. People do. We're not talking about people. We not. And so I always have to really back in and say, I'll listen to what they have to say, but then I really back in and say, okay, so baby, how does that make you feel? Okay. What did you think about this? All right. And yeah, that's the biggest thing, is getting a person to focus on themselves. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this or not, but it's even when you ask a person, if I'm coaching on relationships, helping someone to build or, prepare themselves properly, prepare themselves for a relationship. If you ask, well, what exactly are you looking for? Like, what type of man do you want? Well, I don't want him to be like this, and I don't want the brain operates backwards. You tell me what you don't want before you tell me what you want. Okay.
That's very
true. And I'll work with it because, like I said, the brain operates backwards. So when you're done telling me everything you don't want and you say, so, I just want him to just respect me. Bam, my brain zooms in and says, okay, respect. All right. So now we're going to go there. All right. Because I was more concerned about who you are, what you want, how you want it. And you gave me everything you don't want, which you've seen before, and what you don't want to experience ever again. Okay, well, we need your belief to outweigh your doubt. Okay.
Yeah,
We need you to
I got
focus
you.
more on what you
Mhm.
want than what you don't want. Because the more you focus on what you don't want, that's what's going to manifest.
Well, you know what? And I'm glad you said that because that's actually so true. And it's kind of just the way we talk in general. When someone asks a question, we do immediately go, well, and I think that's part of the negative. We immediately go to the negative of a thing, because that's where we're so comfortable. And I recognize when you were saying that because I remember when I had gone through, some people know some of the reasons, the deeper reasons for the power shut up, because it was an experience that I went through health wise, where I think I literally say God just shut me all the way up. He was like, "You doing too much, and being quiet wasn't good enough. So I need you to shut up." And I did have someone to actually tell me to shut up, and I was like, "Excuse me," but I get it, and I thank her every day for telling me
Absolutely.
that, because that could have gone a whole nother way. But I knew it was coming from a place of love, but I needed that because sometimes when you are dealing with things, you do go to, I know I can't, I'm not gonna put no number on the years. I know my mother has said this to me several times, but
Mhm.
every time there was a situation going on, I thought about all of the bad, negative things that could happen, never focusing on where I was in that moment and anything good. So I spent all my time focusing on avoiding the negative. And so there's nothing left for what could possibly happen that's good or get you through resolve and all of that. So you are absolutely right. And I don't even think we consciously know that that's what we're doing, that we're moving backwards.
Mhm.
Because it's so comfortable to go to, yeah, but last time this happened. Yeah, but this happened that time. And it's all negative. Just all, I think we're
Mhm.
allergic. I say I'm allergic to negativity now, but I think
Mhm.
we're so not accustomed positive thinking that it terrifies people to think that something good could come out of something.
I used to think that
I used
very way. I used to think that very way. As a matter of fact, I'll go deeper than that. Um, I used to think that I wasn't capable of being loved by anyone.
hmm,
Okay. Reason being is because you may see my name pop up as loving me some me. That's because I do now, but I didn't then.
right.
Okay. And
Hmm.
I literally hated everything about me. Okay. I hated I'm the firstborn. I hated that I'm born in May and I'm a Taurus the bull. Okay. I hated, I mean,
Okay,
everything.
sis. Okay.
Okay. I said loving me some me now. Okay. Because I love me wholeheartedly. But I hated everything about me. Okay. And that was because I hadn't been in a place of love. Okay. My mom was 15 when
Hmm.
she had me. So we grew up together. Okay. And I just, even to this day, I feel like she loved me, but she didn't like me. Okay. And that's
Hmm.
personal for
Okay.
her. So what I did was I'm a mother of 8, 5 sons, 3 daughters, and then I adopted my bonus baby. So mother of 9,
Okay,
still
go
fine.
ahead.
Okay,
Go
come on.
ahead and
No,
talk
anyway,
to us.
so what I did was, you know what? What I didn't get from her, I'ma give all of that to them. Okay, I'm a love on my
Hmm.
kids like no other. However, I realize, you know what, Bridget, you may love them and love on them, and they may be your entire world, but you're operating out of guilt. You're
Hmm.
operating from a place of guilt. Whatever you couldn't give to them, whatever you couldn't do for them, whatever you just, I have to give this to them. I have to do this for them. We went through a period of time where we were houseless for a while, and I had even thought about completing suicide and just everything. Okay, my whole world was crumbling, but I never wanted my children to experience that, to go through that. So whatever I can do to just make them or make their life as easy or comfortable as possible, that's what I poured into doing, until one day I had to recognize, Bridget, that's, what you're doing is still not healthy. It's okay for you to love on them, but you're loving on them and hurting you. Okay. You're loving on them, but you're self-sabotaging you.
Yeah.
Okay. How can you call yourself loving me some me when you're literally abusing you? Okay. You have to stop that. All right. You have to rethink some things. You know what I'm saying? God allowed you to borrow his kids. Okay. Those are his children. All right. And come on. And the life that you, or the road that you were traveling down and all the things that you went through. All right. I refuse to feel sorry for me. Never, ever, ever, never. I am not a victim. I'm a thriver. I've even passed surviving. Okay. And I say that because now I can literally coach people who have been in situations as myself without being biased, So, and I say that, Lisa, because there was a time, because I had gone through 15 years of domestic violence. There was a time when I wouldn't coach anybody who was going through domestic violence, because if you came in as a couple trying to heal, if she told me he touched her, he's guilty. Get up out of here. I can't talk to you. Okay. And all that was
a trigger.
revealed.
Absolutely.
Oh my, it revealed me to me. Okay. To where my coach was like, no, you need some work done. Okay. It's time for you to put in the work, and things like that. Yeah. So that's why,
but that's powerful right there. That's really powerful.
Girl. And I was in it. I mean,
well, and I'm going to say this. The fact that you mentioned, and I don't know if anybody caught what you just said, but when you mentioned that my coach, so coaches need coaches and coaches need coaches need coaches, that you were like, okay, no, I don't know. I don't have all the answers and I still have a coach for me. I mean, I think a lot of people miss that because they think once you in a certain position, like you the end all be all. No, I need my people around me because we all need to be checked. We all need to be reminded. We all need to be, I mean, and there's always a new thing that you got to work through. If only you living.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're only hurting yourself and the others you speak to if you think you done and you got all the answers. No, I'm a student always in that regard because I can learn from anybody, whether it's a lesson or a blessing. There's something out there, but you gotta, and that's how we're connected with what you're doing. And when I talk about communicating, because the whole part was that I had to start listening to what was being said. A lot of times our ears are open and we hear the noises, we hear the sounds, but we are not listening to what is being said, which is why a lot of people are responding and then don't know how you got into the situation. But it turns out you didn't even hear what that person said to you.
Come on.
And you already reacting off of what you're talking about, your triggers. You were triggered by a word that wasn't the complete sentence. And now we in a whole, my favorite word is kerfuffle, y'all. So that's why I use that word. But we in a whole kerfuffle because I didn't listen to what you said. And on top of that, what you talk to people about is take it in. Like, okay, what did they say something that was actually true? So then what you arguing about? Okay, that's
that
me.
Part.
I talked to someone talk too much when I was always sassy at the mouth. The first time it was a problem was because you telling me, but I knew you just who are you to tell me? It wasn't until I was like, I received that. You know what? Now what I'm gonna do about that? Because that could be a problem. Come
on. And I say it all the time. If I'm the smartest one in the room, I'm in the wrong room. I'm in the wrong room.
That part.
Okay, because every day I look forward to learning something new. Every day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Every day. You said you got checked. Oh, girl, I got checked. I was a relative of mine was like, so when are you going to start coming around, Bridget? And I said, as soon as I get my stuff together. She says, what if you never get your stuff together? Then what?
Great question. We got to wait for that.
I was like,
that's a great question.
Come on. Time wasted, energy gone. You sitting up here trying to get yourself together, but you're missing out on the very ones who could possibly help you to get your stuff together. But you won't allow yourself to be placed in the right space amongst the right people at the right time because you think it's you. You think you're doing this. Yeah. Okay. But you go crying to God, talking about God help me. And he like, look, I done sent a boat, a helicopter, a plane. Well, okay.
And you keep missing the flight. You miss the boat. You always running late. You ain't making something else going on. You keep missing.
Wait, and sis, he doing like this. And I'm like, what? What? He said, and you're missing the point. I'm pointing at you. Okay. It's like, oh.
It's you.
It's you. Okay. So, I'm like, oh, okay. I get it. Took me 40 years.
This look, and sometimes it take that long. Let me tell you, I wrote the book in 2019, The Power Shut Up, because it took me that long to admit. I won't say to know. It took me that long to admit that I needed to shut up. And I often joke with people when they say, "Oh, so." And I said, now look, this is not some kind of book that allows you or gives you permission to tell other people to shut up. This is a self-help. Like you need to be able to tell you to shut up. So when I'm sitting in the room and all of these triggers and noises are happening and Lisa's in her own, operating her own space, she's like, oh, okay, I got something for you. I got something for you. This is when I say, Lisa, you need to shut up. There's nothing to say. Why do I feel like you talked about earlier? So why is it that I feel like I gotta respond to this?
Come on, because that's what I'm used to doing.
Yep. You know what that is? That's ego. And
all that.
I feel like most people operate in major ego on a regular basis, but there's so much power in recognizing that. And being able, because you deflate everything about somebody coming at you with stuff when they say something about you and you done dealt with that and you say, you're right. There ain't nothing else to talk about. You're right.
Own it. Own it. I tell my kids all the time, I need you to have more than talking spit up under your belt. Okay. I need you to have more than that. If you know how to talk spit like your mama, okay, your mama knows how to talk from the street level to the corporate level and all in between. Can you do that? Okay, then if you can't do that, then every time you find yourself getting ready to start talking spit, you need to stop and think. Okay. Hold on. What's another way for me to put this? Okay. What's a better way for me? Or do I even need to respond to this? Hold on. Let me think about that for a minute. Okay. Because if you want to sit up here and quote Bible scriptures to me and stuff, okay, well then pick that one. Quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Okay. Shut up. Shut up, Bridget.
Shut up.
Okay.
Translation. Shut up. But you know what we do when we hear them words? I laugh at people because I say, I know when I wrote the book, I said the first thing I said was, I know when you saw the Power Shop, you was like, who are you talking to? I get it. I get it. I did it. But now when somebody says you need to exercise your Power Shop, I said, you know what? You right. You right.
There it is. You right. Well, Bridget, you say this, but you don't even take your own advice, baby, because I'm a deliverer. Okay, this one's for you. And then, shut up, Bridget, shut up. Okay.
I'm trying to tell you, there's so much power in telling myself to shut up. It gets me through. And I talk about that in regards to, and it's so. Well, I say it's so simple, but it's really, it's not at times. It's simple. It's simpler for me now but road rage and just we're in a different world now. And if we don't understand the importance of knowing when to be quiet, and that everything doesn't have to be addressed, because I think that we equate not saying something or responding to weakness.
Absolutely.
And that's part of what my message is to people too, is that there is absolute strength in being able to manage your words, and not feel that you have to respond to everything, because that's a thing. And I tell all these big bad people that got something to say all the time, if you feel like that you have to address everything that somebody says to you, then the work is on you. That's not them, that's you. That's a thing.
That's right
that's a
there.
thing. That's a problem. Because that's stress, everything. And I'm not, look, we trying to be here a long time.
Come on.
And have a good time here. So
yes,
let's live our best life, which means that why would I spend all of this energy? Half the time it's on people you don't know their first, last name, or where they're going to in 5 minutes, but you didn't give them all of your power. And this is one of the things I always would say. We say things like, don't let anybody steal your joy. And when you go, I know I've been through things, and then somebody would come over, call themselves soothing things over, and say, don't let them steal your joy. And I used to get so mad, like, why would you think that's what I'm doing? Like, I'm not letting them. But then I thought about it. Of course, I was way grown then, and I said, you know what? That's exactly what I was doing, because can't nobody steal your joy if you don't give it to them.
He who angers you controls you. Yep.
If they got it, then you gave it to them. You served it on the platter. So
that's right.
You. So but that's what you were talking about earlier with the ownership. You gotta own that. If they got it, then you put it in their hands. So let's make sure we don't give it away.
That part.
And that's where you check yourself.
Come on.
So if you planning to give your power, then go ahead and respond. But if you want to hold yours, because you want to use that energy for something better, then you just said, you got it. I got two favorite letters now. O and K.
There it is. There it is. Okay. There it is. Okay. And you know what? And that shows your growth too. Okay. Yeah. Because they don't know that probably irked your soul. Okay. But you know what? I'm growing. Okay, I'm recognizing me. Okay. Now, any other time
my face sometimes I will. I'm gonna own it though. Sometimes I got these big eyes, so I said, I'm working on the facial expression, because sometimes my face will say things I'll never have to open my mouth. So I'm working on it, but I'm addressing. Keep working on it, because sometimes, and that's another thing I talk about, the nonverbal communication, because sometimes you ain't got to say nothing.
At all.
You ain't got to say a word.
Not
at all. And that's why people say, why you looking at, because you talking, you enter a room, you don't necessarily have to say anything, but you are saying something. So I just encourage people to be mindful of the fact that you are always communicating.
Come on.
So that's why you got to yourself, because if somebody is giving you some kind of energy, you might want to recognize how you came into the room, because although you didn't say anything, you might have put something in there, and somebody is addressing you, even though you didn't say it verbally. So don't be mad at them. They heard you. They heard you. You just ain't say nothing. So yeah, we just got to do better about.
Yeah.
Look, sometimes louder than anything you could even say out of your mouth. Sometimes it's not what you said, it's what you didn't say.
What you didn't say. Come on.
There's truth to that. But I wanted you to, before we leave, because we're going to have Bridget come back for sure, because we want to unpack more and more, because I love what you're doing. I wanted you to kind of share what's some advice that you would give people who are struggling in the areas of addressing their triggers, and how do they balance that? Because I know that's like a work that it don't happen overnight. Probably doesn't even happen within a year's time if you're really getting into the work. But what is some advice you could give to people who are really trying and they're struggling in that area?
You know what? Um, Lisa, I have a journal coming out in the next couple weeks. Okay, the ME3
I
journal.
love it.
My thing is this: you don't have to be honest with me or anyone else, but at least be honest with yourself. Okay. Tell, you hear people say, there's his truth, her truth, the truth. Tell the truth to yourself. Okay. Be honest with yourself. With that being said, if you're in front of someone, remember, we don't always have to respond. So if someone says something
Mhm.
and it bothers you, remember that feeling. Remember that feeling. Use that computer, that miniature computer you have, your phone, okay, and take note on that so you can come back and later address that, and you're not addressing it from third person. You're addressing it right where you are, who you are, what you're feeling at that very moment. You know what? This person said the dog ran. Why did that bother me when they said the dog ran? What is my issue with the dog? Or what is my issue with running? It's called self-reflecting. Okay.
Mhm.
Not giving a care with what everybody else is saying. If you truly love you, like you will hear people say, I love me. Oh, I love me. Okay. Well, then help you to grow, help you to
Mm.
overcome issues that is causing you to not be happy in your relationship with your partner, with your children, with your job. Recognize it. Okay. And the very way to
Yeah.
recognize things is be in tune with your feelings. Okay. And how things make
Mhm.
you feel. Write it down, reflect on it. Again, be honest with yourself. This is not a marathon. You don't have to, this is not the Olympics. You got to run and hurry up and get to the finish line. No, this is you taking your time with you.
Okay.
Okay, spending
Yeah.
quality time with you. I just heard Iyala Van Zant say the other day on some show she was on, and she said to become more aware with yourself, just try doing this one thing 3 times a day. And I'm sitting there like, what?
Mhm.
And she says, I'm gonna use your word. Shut up for 7 minutes 3 times a day. She said, just be
Wow.
quiet for 7 minutes. She said, no music, just sit with yourself for 7 minutes, 3 times a day, and watch how much you learn about yourself. Because then you become more self aware, you can hear yourself, and you begin to recognize that you really can't control your thoughts. Okay. How do you
Mm.
perceive yourself? So, like I said, if I'm the smartest one in the room, I'm in
That's
the wrong
good.
room. I learned some stuff, because every
I
day I'm
love
learning.
that. I'm I'm trying to think about that's some good advice.
Mhm.
Yeah, some people got probably gonna have to do that several times, but and they might not make it the whole 7 minutes. But I think that is a great way to start to and kind of force yourself to deal with some stuff. And you just gotta be
Absolutely.
willing. Gotta be willing. You gotta be
That's
in
it.
an open canvas with that and say, let me give me the well, and you talked about that. Give me the tools. So that's a great tool. Thank you for sharing that. I did want
Absolutely.
to before we go, and like I said, we're going to have Bridget come back. I love this conversation, but I wanted to, because we haven't been going live, I wanted to say happy belated MLK Day, because I hadn't been going live or anything. And you all know that sometimes I play a little bit with the dates and kind of month awareness things. So I wanted to give you all some information, because one of the things that I like to leave with when I close out the show is to I want people to come here and learn about or think about things they might not have ever thought about before, and also to learn something new. You never know. There's some crazy trivia stuff out there in the world that you like, how do you know that existed? So I come with the silly a little bit. but it's still very interesting. So you all know that today is January 22nd. So, and I know most of you won't care anything about this, but this is part of who I am as a person. I want to tell you something you didn't know. So for January 22nd, for those who are cat lovers, I don't know if you knew this, but today is Answer Your Cat's Questions Day. So if you have a cat, today is the day that you can answer the cat's questions. Cats got questions. Today you can answer them. This is their awareness day. Also want you to give you a few more to take you through the rest of the week. So January 24th, I want you all to remember, is National Compliment Day. Now this one is important to me because I think we don't do enough of this. It don't hurt you or nobody else to just compliment somebody. I do it all the time. It does catch people off guard. But I think, like you said with the 7-minute thing, if you just get in the habit of doing a thing, it will become easier over time. It will. Believe me, I had to practice shutting up for a minute. It wasn't like, bam, I had it. I had to keep doing it because the first time I was like, nah, I don't like this. But if you keep doing it, which is like complimenting a stranger, you don't need a reason. Just compliment somebody. You got to find something good about somebody and say it out loud. Because you know they don't know, they can't read your mind. So remember on the 24th, I say you should do this every day, but January 24th, try complimenting somebody. Now on the 29th, it's National Puzzle Day. Now this one hit me because my sister, and I don't know if anybody knows, because sometimes I post this. My sister went to Howard and I went to Spelman. So she bought puzzles and she has one from Howard. So she put hers together. So I was like, oh, it's January 29th, which motivates me to sit down and do my Spelman puzzle. And then of course, once you do your puzzles, y'all, I'm just adding this little bit in there. Put the glue thing on there so you can put up on the wall, because otherwise don't nobody know that you did the puzzle. So I'm just saying, recognize January 29th. And I also wanted to, and I'm late to the party, but Happy New Year to all of you all. 2026, we are praying for something bigger and better. We know that this has been a rough year. 2025 was something for the records, okay? We could talk all day long and a whole nother year about what happened last year, but we're in a new year. It's time to do a new thing. It's a new day. And this was a great kickoff to just reminding us that we again today get another opportunity to do something new, do something great, make a difference and impact others. So let's keep that going. Thank you, Life Coach Bridget, for coming. I'm hoping that you will come. I'm looking forward to it, where we can tap into a little bit more of your story, because I love to get to know people and where they come from. Because a lot of times people wonder, how did they get where they are? How did they start to think the way they think? And I think that matters. Your story matters. So we definitely look forward to having her come back. Thank you all so much for tuning in and supporting the Power Shut Up. It's been a rough few months. And I'm happy to have come back here. I'm actually via Atlanta. I'm in Georgia right now. I'm not back in Washington, D.C., which is where I'm from. But I was determined, Bridget. Okay. I was like, look, before some other things had happened and I had to get on the road, I was like, oh no, we're going to do this no matter where I am. And I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I did. And I want to remind you all, if nothing else, just take this with you into the weekend. But I can do all things through him who gives me strength. Philippians 4:13. You all, we got this. Just keep pushing through. And I hope this motivates you to tap into, reach out to Coach Bridget. So before we go, Bridget, can you let them know where they can find you on social media, so that they connect with you if they have other questions and things like that? So let them know where they can find you.
Absolutely. I am on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and I think it's Lemon8, Life and Relationship Coach Bridget. I am also on YouTube, Life and Relationship Coach Bridget there as well. My website is www.hafh. That's home away from home. www.hafh.life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, you all reach out to Life Coach Bridget. And you will be seeing her again here and on TikTok. I do plan on moving the show over to TikTok at some point, so I'm excited about that. But more to come as we move through this. But thank you so much for being my first guest of the year. And I look forward to talking to you all. Not next week, but normally the shows are on Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see you again. So until then, have a good one.